Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a deeper look at the new moon in Aquarius, this out of sign eclipse that is perfecting on February 17th. We're going to dive into this a little bit more, but now we're going to focus on more mundane aspects. I have done the big picture stuff over and over again. It's out there. You've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go find it. It's all the recent episodes. We've beat some things to death whenever it comes to like the big picture and the big flow of what's going on in the collective. Now we need to just kind of narrow our scope to the individual rising signs and the actual mundane effects that people can see. And when I'm saying mundane, I mean like things in your health, things in your daily life, the themes in this regard. And I had already planned on doing this for a while, I got to be honest with you. But then Valentine's evening, I spent the entire night in the emergency room with my mom. That's not a joke. I'm tired. And don't come at me in the comments. I'm a full time caretaker. I'm allowed to say every once in a while that I'm tired whenever I am, especially whenever I spent all night in the emergency room. Okay, okay, okay. Now I'm telling you that part, not for the sympathy, but because the universe has this way of showing me things in a bigger sense. And whenever you're in any type of place, I don't care if it's the emergency room, it can be in the schoolyard, it can be in the park, it can be at the Walmart, it doesn't matter where it is. We people watch. We do. We people watch. But I see everything through the astrology. I see the transits when they start to manifest. When I hear certain stories from people, I'm like, oh, that's a Mars thing. That's a Saturn thing. That's a Neptune thing. Oh, that was so Venus. That was so Venusian. Oh, that was a Mercury retrograde thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I see it through the lens of the astrology. And even sitting in the waiting room of the emergency room, I saw everything through that lens of astrology. 4 out of 5 people that came in were elders. They were elderly in the latter half of their ages. And the one thing about Saturn in this vibration is Saturn represents the elders. I've said this before. It is the elder, it is the role, it is the responsibility, it is the boss, it is the CEO. There's things around our elders that need to be paid attention to. Now, the thing is, this eclipse is in Aquarius. Aquarius has 2 rulers, Saturn and Uranus. And as much as there can be these big picture things that are going on, there will also be mundane things that are going on that are going to impact people physically. We physically feel this energy a lot of the time. And I want to be real about that. I want to talk about some of the ways that this can physically manifest. And this isn't the first time that I've ever done that. It's just the first time I've ever told you I'm following it from the ER, by the way. We're going to talk about the potentials of ways that it can physically manifest whenever the energy is so intense, and it's the way our body reacts to certain things. It doesn't have to be this way, but it is another way that it can manifest. And I want to put some emphasis onto this because, again, I saw last night through the scope of an astrologer. Saturn rules the legs, the knees, your skeletal structure, literally the support system of your body is Saturn. When your back is out, whenever something's not feeling right in that certain area, there's something wrong with Saturn a lot of the times. Feel your knee just kind of a little shaky at that time, or you just can't step right there. It's kind of jammed up. Saturn. This is an eclipse that is ruled by Saturn, one of the 2 rulers. We're going to focus on Saturn for this. The main reason we're focused on Saturn is because in the same days of this eclipse, we are building to our Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And Neptune can quite literally impact your lymph nodes, your immune system. It can impact other fluid systems in the body. It can create fluid in the body. Think of gout. Quite literally gout, because Neptune also has rulership of the feet. Being the modern ruler of Pisces, Pisces is associated with the feet. You ever meet somebody with a foot fetish, look for their Pisces placements. That's not a joke. There can be things that manifest in the body, and most specifically around the elders. And I want to be clear about that. Now, there's extra layers to this that I want to add in whenever it comes to the health effect, and then we're actually going to go into some of the other stuff. One, This is a Saturn-Neptune conjunctioning that is happening in a Mars-ruled sign. Mars rules the head from your nose up. Mars, because of Scorpio, rules your reproductive organs. Mars rules the blood. And there can be things tied to blood pressure in this energy, but not just blood pressure. With the Neptune effect, it can also be your blood sugars, major spikes and reactions in blood sugars that do not make sense because of the energetic pattern at hand. Mars can be associated with accidents. I did another ER night, I don't know, about 3 years ago. That sounds about right. It was right whenever mom first started to get sick. So maybe 4. And there was a heavy Mars transit one night, and we were sitting in the ER, and about every other person that come in had a physical accident, burns, cuts, ATVs, accidents. So many people were coming in. I'm like, that's a heavy Mars transit in the way that it manifests. And for my people that are nurses that have heard me do the health stuff before, you always end up appreciating knowing that we can have influxes of these things. And considering in this eclipse, Mars and Saturn are in mutual reception, as in Saturn is in Mars' sign and Mars is in Saturn's sign, it can have ways of manifesting specifically based off of those zodiac signs, Aries risings and Aquarius risings. Be aware of that. I also would put emphasis on Mercury because Mercury is in its detriment and Mercury is stationing. Mercury rules anything on your body that has duality. So you have 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 kidneys, those are in the back, 2 lungs. These are co-ruled things, kidneys and the lungs, because this is also a Venus thing. I'm not putting a whole lot of focus on that, but I am putting focus on the fact that Mercury rules the intestinal organs, and there can literally be stuff in your gut health that gets activated in this energy, especially because Mercury is starting to slow down as we go through this eclipse. And as we get closer to that Saturn Neptune, Mercury is slowing down each and every time. And the more a planet slows down, it can manifest in sluggishness. So be aware of that. If you're feeling something in your gut and something isn't functioning appropriately, that can be more tied to Mercury. Now, the reason I bring up Mercury again is it's in its detriment, but the other ruler of Pisces is Neptune. And it's 2 rulers. Aquarius has 2 rulers. Pisces has 2 rulers. The ruler of Pisces and the ruler of Aquarius are hitting a conjunction in this eclipse. So there is going to be physical effects in people, but I'm paying attention to what planets are also in those signs so we can add extra emphasis to this vibration. There can be things that come through in our health. I, again, already planned on putting emphasis on this, but then again, whenever I saw certain things last night, I was like, I need to make sure I actually do a lot of that. But for some people, it's not going to be a health thing. And if it is a health thing, it might not be your health thing. It could be the health, again, of your elder. But it might not be the elder. It might be the boss. The boss isn't feeling well. And somebody else is being, put in charge temporarily for some reason. There can be certain things that start to get redrawn in regards to the rules. And I've said this before. The rules are meant to get rewritten. Saturn is the boss. It is that skeletal structure. It is the support that makes things function. It is roles. It is responsibilities. A lot of us are stepping into new roles. We are taking on different responsibilities. And for some of us, we're a little clueless in that factor because, again, there's a Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening during this eclipse. And I think about this eclipse is that it is, again, an out of sign eclipse. The North Node isn't here yet. And the thing about this eclipse is it's setting the stage for 2 vibrations. Immediate changes that must happen to reach a goal. The eclipse activates some kind of goal, some type of awareness, some type of situation that we have to focus on. This new dynamic, this parts of the new normal, there's something new coming into shape. But the next eclipse in Aquarius will not happen until 2027. So this is setting the stage for something that we want to focus on, that we want to happen a certain way, but it will take an immediate energy with the Mercury retrograde, but a full year in the long term to really make something set up the way that we want it to. It's going to take a year to build the full dynamic of this vibration. And whenever we hit that 1 year mark, remember that comes with tests. So we're still in an energy where we need to be very, very aware of the rules, the foundation, the boundaries. And whenever we start to talk about boundaries, boundaries can be literally where a house sits on a plot of land. It lines out this area. I've talked about that before. But for some of us, it's our rules. It's our boundaries. We're rewriting our boundaries. And the minute we start to enforce them, again, some of us are going to become the villain in our own stories because other people are going to get mad that we're placing rules, not doing this anymore. I don't want to play this game with you anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want your drama. I don't want your drama. And the thing about the Saturn Neptune is that there is a blurring of lines because there's so much that needs to be redone and redrawn. But we're at the starting point of what we're redrawing, what we're rewriting, what we are going to enforce differently. We're at the starting point of something. And for a lot of people, because you've been doing the opposite, everything feels like a foreign concept. And that really depends on if you've been listening to me for a while. You have to do the thing that you wouldn't normally do. But the more and more you step into the ownership of not doing that thing that you would normally do, you're starting to realize other things about yourself, other things that you desire, other things that you want, putting something else into place, putting something else into motion. There's a difference in the desire. There's something that's meant to begin whenever it comes to the vibration of this week. And it's not specific just to the eclipse. And I said this in the weekly episode. Saturn just moved into Aries. The eclipse is happening on the 17th. And then by the 20th, we get our actual Saturn-Neptune conjunction. There is something that is arriving, something that is starting, something that is coming to light, something that we must start to focus on, something that we are committing to. Even if we do not see everything clearly, there's something that is beginning in this vibration. And for every sign, it's a little different. If you have Saturn or Uranus, sorry, I phased out there for a second, as your time lord, you might feel this more intensely, even if they're not your chart rulers. And we'll put a little emphasis on all of these planets as we continue forward, because so much of what's going on is really focused on 3 signs in the sky, 3 of them. We have the Aquarius eclipse, we have Mercury stationing in Pisces, and we have the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. Now, this eclipse does square Uranus and Taurus, so we could technically say a 4th sign, but it's still very focused on one quadrant of the sky, one area of the sky. And not everybody will see the Uranus and Taurus aspect the way that you could. A lot more are going to be very focused on what the eclipse is. There's so much around this eclipse that speaks to we want to plan, work through, talk through, navigate a long-term change, a long-term new vibration. And the reason I say it's long-term is because Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's also an air sign. So there is talking, there is communication, there is planning, there is more people involved. Without associating a rising sign, Aquarius impacts the masses. So whenever we talk about some of the things that we go through, it's not going to just be an impact on one particular person. It's not just going to be you. We're all living through this energy. We're all going to be dealing with it in some way. And a lot of you, there's going to be multiple players involved in whatever is unfolding in this eclipse. You're making a commitment to another person. You are creating rules against another person, against an entire group. You're putting a new dynamic in order. You're stepping into a new role. That new role comes with a new process and a new procedure. But before you can fully step into it, you got to train the person that was there behind you, that's going to follow up and they're going to take over your old position while also trying to understand your new role. And there's going to be this energy of like trying to do multiple things at once because we're going to also have a bridge that immediately follows the eclipse, a transition, a need for immediate transition. And if you are one of those people that you're taking on a new job, you got promoted, you're moving away from working for a company and going into business for yourself, There is going to be a process to that. There's not just a snap your fingers and boom, this is what we do now. No, it takes time to figure it out. It takes time to put things together. Now, for some people, if we are dealing with the health things, the Saturn Neptune can have to do with treatments. Now, I have said this before. I'm not just saying it on this episode. For some people, that is going to have an effect of treatments. And this is the new norm for us as we move forward. We have to treat our body differently. We have to do this medicine differently. We have to do this thing differently. And it is the bigger part of the new normal. If you're not used to having to go in for a certain kind of medicine on a regular basis, a treatment. I'm thinking of kidney dialysis. This is not a kidney thing, but this is what it started to make sense in my head. If you're doing chemo or radiation, like going in to do those regular treatments, those treatments can be a part of the new normal. And everybody has to adjust accordingly because grandpa's got to go. So who's going to take him? Who can take off work? Who can get their schedules fixed? It takes time to get something put into order. But sometimes the order isn't just what you can do. Sometimes the order is waiting for the insurance to approve everything. All of this, I'm coming from experience. You've been a caretaker for a few years. You go through experiences. There's a difference in this vibration. But whenever it comes to the immediate part of the eclipse, there is something coming to light. There is something coming to focus. There is something getting agreed to. There is something that is commencing. There is something that is starting. There is something that we are meeting about. There is something that we are agreeing to. There is something that is coming together. We all have different things that are starting to happen. And from this point forward, we're going to be stepping into a more heightened, fast-paced vibration over the course of the rest of the next few months. Because I've been saying, like, there's a 90-day shift between February and April. The first 2 weeks of February are not fast. They are strategic. There's negotiations, there's conversations, there's news, there's dynamics, there's planning, there's litigation, there's arguments, there's opinions, there's all this stuff that was very noisy in the first 2 weeks of February. But after the noise settled down and got filtered through, now we're connecting to something. Now we're committing to something. Now we're shifting something. And there's a very big, powerful shift. And everything from this point forward is going to move faster than it has been so far in 2026. It's going to start to move faster from here. So we've needed the boundaries and we've needed the rules and we've needed the shift in the opinion. We've needed the foundational sense of energy that we've been in over the course of the last 6 weeks. And I'm saying this is since the beginning of the year. We've needed those things to come to light and come into focus the way that they did, because now that we understand them a little bit more, we can commit to them. We can focus on them. We can shift our gears a little bit more. And we start moving and moving closer towards something that is new. The entire year is getting acquainted with the new normal. But for us to understand what that is, we've needed things to come into light and come into focus. We've needed certain things to rattle our cages. And with all those conjunctions to Pluto, there was a lot of cage rattling in that vibration. But now we're looking at something we're willing to commit to. But this commitment takes time to work through. And I want everyone to be very, very aware of what is manifesting for you in this vibration. Because in some way, shape, or form, we come back to it, we repeat it, we do the next level of it. There's more to it when it comes to the next Aquarius eclipse in 2027. Eyes open, journal everything, take your photos, whatever you got to do, screenshots, save emails, I don't care. Pay attention to what is unfolding right now in this vibration. Because whenever we come to next year, it's going to be bigger, it's going to be heavier, and it's going to be a test. It's going to get tested. There is pressure testing coming. So make sure you're doing the foundational stuff. You're as clear as you can possibly be whenever it comes to what you are agreeing to, what you are selecting, what we are doing. And if grandpa's going to treatments, be extra clear on everything that's going into his body because it might be a part of the test later. And again, I am speaking from experience on that, not mom's experience, but grandma's. Okay. Oh, okay. Heard a new moon or full moon video with me before, that is okay. I read everything from a whole house system. What does that mean? I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees. Whatever zodiac sign your ascendant is in is your first house. And the next zodiac signs are associated with the next houses, 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs. This feeds into one another. I am going to pull cards for the individual rising signs. I keep my cards upright on purpose because if a card flips out, completely flips and goes upside down, then I know it was on purpose. I get questions about my cards and I want to set that story straight real fast. This is on purpose. Every reader is going to be different. I post the pictures of these cards on my Facebook page and my Instagram. So you can always go back to social media and find the copies of your cards. But of course, I'm breaking everything down in this episode. So with that being said, we're going to get to Aries and Aries risings. All right, my loves. This is a new moon eclipse in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, colleagues, people that you choose to share your space with, people that you make an active effort to do things with in some way. Now, this is a new moon in that 11th house, but it is coincided with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in your first house, your mind, your body, your identity. Many of you are making an active choice to do something different in the way that you connect with people, with the way you connect with your clients, the way you connect with your patients, the way that you connect with your coworkers. Some of you are stepping into that new role. There's been certain things that have already been changing in career all through the month of January with all those things that were going on in Capricorn. And now we're solidifying as to why. We're looking at something that is going to allow something new to kind of start to take shape. Now, here's the thing. This taking shape will not be immediate. Some things are still going to have a little bit of blindsiding energy for you guys because remember, Mercury is slowing down. It is starting to station. By the time we get to the 26th, I know that's 10 days away from when I got it on the screen. But the thing is, like, we're in that pre-shadow energy as we go through the eclipse. Mercury's retrograde will be in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. And there will be some things that make you a little hesitant, or there will be some things where you're just like, I know the right way to do it. I know how to make something happen. I know how to put something together, but I got to wait for you guys, as in your coworkers, your people around you, your boss, whoever. I got to wait for some of y'all to figure that part out on your own. And in some ways, you can be committing to something, but also still playing the waiting game. And there's cards that speak to both of these items as we go into this. So we have this Hermit card. And again, Saturn and Neptune spend a lot of time in your 12th house. The Mercury retrograde is going to be in your 12th house. This Hermit card makes a lot of sense of like, it seems like a lot of you have been waiting for something to happen, or you have one more element of a waiting game because of the Mercury retrograde. And this Hermit card speaks to a lot of that. There's stuff from the past that needs to be redone. It needs to be adjusted. There needs to be stuff that is cleared out and let go of. But not everybody is going to like this clear out. Some people are going to give you a little bit of tension. They'll be like, no, this is the way that we've always done it. We got this 8 of coins. And the thing is like, it doesn't matter if certain things have been the old way that they've always done it. It's time for something new. We have this Fool card and we have this Page of Coins. So the 8 of coins, the Fool card, the Page of Coins. Even if certain people are reluctant for change, all you have to do is recognize just how much you know and how much feels right to you. Because a lot of you, it does come into what feels right to you. We also have the Strength card and we have the 6 of coins that's going to follow. Some people, you have to show them. With that 6 of coins, you have to show them how to make something work to get them to trust you. You have to actually set an example for a lot of people as opposed to saying, do what I say and not as I do. That is not the management style in this energy. Show them, set the example. If you are one of those people that you've already been setting the example, then great. Continue to do that and continue to live by your word. integrity is everything. Now, for some of y'all, there is going to be something in your health. The reason I say that is Mercury rules your sixth house of health, and again is going retrograde in the 12th house. The next eclipse that we are going to happen will be in your sixth house of health. For some of y'all, there is going to be something around your health or the health of someone else. And that Saturn Neptune can again have to do with treatments. This is happening in your first house. That's your mind, your body, your identity, you. If you're not taking some new role and new responsibility, if you don't have anything else cooking, you need to be aware of how you're feeling in this energy. For some of you, it's going to be downloads. It's going to be this great idea. This is what we should do in business. That's what we should change. This is what we should put into focus. For other people, you're stepping into some kind of role. You're stepping into some kind of new responsibility. And it's not just a responsibility for you, it's impacting other people. And for some of you, it can even impact their healing process because, again, we've got so much of that Pisces element there. There's a lot going on in this area, but whenever it comes to the Saturn Neptune conjunction, you guys are feeling this the most intense. And for some of you, it's going to be health. For some of you, it's going to be your role. For some of you, it's going to be a shift in your identity. I want to rewrite my name. I don't want to go by Christopher. I'm going to go by Topher. I don't have a Chris as a client. I just like using this as an example because so many people don't realize Topher is short for Christopher. It's crazy. I want to adjust my identity. I want to adjust my name. I want to shift something. I feel the shift in me. I want to feel new. And that new again is not just you, but you're also telling other people, call me this from now on. This is how I want to be referred to. This is my name moving forward. This is who I am moving forward. Understand that you have to respect this. And if some people don't respect it, then they don't continue to stay around. Just be aware of that. But there's some very new energy that is not just impacting you guys. It is also impacting a group of people, how you connect with them, how they see you. It's an energy that has more than one dynamic that is unfolding. And it's going to be something that becomes a big part of the topic for you guys over the course of at minimum the next 2 years. For more of you, it can go longer because Neptune's going to be here for well over a decade. So be clear on who you're wanting to become and knowing that you're at the beginning stages of something. And this is why I'm saying be clear, because not everybody's going to like it. Not everybody's going to agree. And there might be one more level of clearing out house because not everybody goes with us into the new normal. And that feels like it comes through that Mercury retrograde. Okay, moving along. We're going to get back to the screen. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon eclipse in your 10th house of career, public image, your goals for the future, your plans for the future, where you wish to thrive. If we want to put this into the people sense, this can actually have to do with fathers. The 10th house can have to do with fathers or other masculine energy. But I feel like you guys could be doing some shakeups in this energy because this is a new moon eclipse in your 10th house of career, squaring Uranus in your first house. And that Uranus energy, that unexpected energy, that one more round of breaking something up, of doing something exciting, of doing something unexpected, but having it be something that very much impacts the way you see your future, how you wish to thrive, how you wish to succeed. There is a very big focus on what you're wanting to do next. So many of you have felt stuck for such a long time. And we're tired of things being a repeated pattern of not connecting well, of just breaking over and over again. And it's time to stop being focused on the breaking. We have to realize other things about us. We have to realize the other things that are going on. We have to realize that some people are for us, and we have to realize that some people will not make it past the springtime. Now, I say that part because Venus, your chart ruler, is in this 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. And right after Mercury turns retrograde, Venus is going to hit a conjunction to this Mercury. Some of y'all are going to be realizing some people do not continue with you into the new normal. There are some people that have lingered. There's some of us that we've just kind of let some people continue into this energy. But for some of you, there's going to be some hard truths that are going to follow. It's not necessarily hard truths for everybody. Some people, again, it is just that perspective of where we're going next in our career, where we're going next in the future. That has a lot to do with that eclipse in the 10th. But the thing is that goal for the future is not just impacting you, it's also impacting other people because your chart ruler is in that 11th house of friends, network, clients, colleagues, the people you choose to share your space with. So there's going to be a lot of you that the only way you can finally do something different is to allow yourself to get free of where you have been stuck. Now, I'm not surprised to feel that this Hangman was the first card that came out for you guys. Uranus came back into Taurus back in November, has been retrograde up until this month. He is newly direct, and we've had little bits of hits to Uranus, but not as big as this eclipse energy. And after this, we're going to have a Mars Uranus square. That's going to be pretty intense too. So there's going to be something that speaks to a reaction that finally allows for us to feel like we're getting unstuck. And again, whenever it comes to just how hard some of the energy has been for you guys, a lot of you guys are stuck in the pattern of nothing's ever going to go right again. Everything's always breaking. And I really need people to get out of this mentality, the 9 of Swords energy. And remember, whenever it comes to the rebuilding vibration, in the tarot deck, the star card, which is the next card, this awakening, this epiphany, this vibration of where you go next and what you do next, this energy follows the tower. After things fall apart, it allows for you to see lessons that you could not see before, see patterns you could not see before, and move forward in a whole different set of lessons in how you see your future. There is a direction, there is path, there are things that are starting to fall into place. Many of you are looking at a new way of making money. We have this King of Coins and we have this Ace of Coins. Now, the thing about these two that I'm looking at is the fact that this is the last time we have Uranus in your first house. And as we continue through the rest of those Aquarius eclipses, Uranus is going to be in your second house of money, your stuff, your assets, way that you make money, ways that you spend money. That could be negative in the sense of like every time something breaks, it's going to cost you money, but it doesn't have to be. It can also be that we're going into a different plan of new ways of making money. King of Coins, Ace of Coins. And it really comes down to who you have on your side. So we have this Queen of Cups energy. Some of y'all are going to have people that are very supportive of the vibration that you're going into. A lot of that has to do with, again, Venus is in that 11th house of friends. But for some of you, you're going to have to face some fears, going back to that 9 of Swords, that not everybody goes with you. And for some of you, this is a spiritual energy. This is a spiritual calling. This is a spiritual connection. This is a spiritual direction. It is a part of either your healing process or it's a part of the process of how you help other people. And I say that because that Saturn-Neptune conjunction is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. There will be some endings that come in the immediate energy. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one bit. But for others, there are steps in a direction towards healing, towards letting go of things. And there can be elements of this spring that makes you go reclusive, but that reclusive energy is still meant to help you because you need to go reclusive so you can start to tinker with what you're going to do next. So you can work out the plans and the logistics of what you do next. Not everybody goes with you. And sometimes you don't need everybody around because they're going to get in your way. And if you start to feel that need to go reclusive, I'm telling you, the longer your 12th house is activated, the more that's going to make sense. You're not going to want to be connected to everyone the same way that you were before. You're going to want a different level of peace from what you had before. And there is going to be a rethinking and reshaping following this eclipse as to how you connect with people and who you're willing to be connected to. So be aware of that. I'm very, very focused on the fact that your chart ruler is in the 11th. And then she's going to go into Aries. Change is coming, but a lot of that change is completely up to you. And it's you choosing yourself and breaking a pattern of staying stuck in the same mentality that has been going on for so long. It's time to break out of this mentality. It's time to face certain fears and step into a different direction. This is the last time of Uranus in your first house. Everything since 2018 has been pushing you into a whole different vibration. And now we're finally understanding what that was meant to be. It's just taken a very long time to get there. All right, moving along. We're going to get to Geminis and Gemini risings. All right, my loves, this is an eclipse in your ninth house that can be higher education, higher learning, institutions. This can have to be things that have to do with faith, but an institution doesn't have to be a church in that faith aspect. It can be hospitals, it can be colleges, it can have to do with prisons. I've seen so many people that they don't even realize that they don't think of it, but prisons can be an institution. But what I'm also looking at for you guys is that Saturn Neptune is in the 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. Mercury, your chart ruler, is stationing to go retrograde in your 10th house of career, your goals for the future. Some of the plans that you thought you were going to do, some of the things that you thought were about to happen, they're not going to stick. They're not going to remain the same way. Some of the work that you've been doing has to be adjusted. And there's going to be the need to connect with other people for you to really understand what that adjustment is. Because again, Saturn, Neptune in the 11th house. Now, that eclipse is squaring Uranus in the 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. There can be some things about that eclipse that feel very, very unnerving or very, very blindsiding whenever it comes to what's coming through. It's meant to shake you. Like literally, I feel like for you guys, you're going to literally feel parts of this in your spine with Uranus hitting that eclipse, like hitting that square from the eclipse through this energy. But remember, Uranus is newly direct. And by April, Uranus will be in Gemini. Uranus is moving into Gemini this year and will be there completely for the next 8 years. There is supposed to be something that shakes you up, that gives you a different path, that shows you a different direction. Some of you, it's not having to institutions. Some of you, it has to do with travel. But it's like as soon as something hits your spine and shakes you up a little bit, it's like, I got to do everything in my power to make that happen. And I would not be surprised if a bunch of Gemini risings suddenly go, I'm going to live in an RV and not deal with people again for a very, very long time. Because again, Uranus rules where this eclipse is. He's one of the rulers, and he's about to move into Gemini. And I can see a lot of people suddenly having this gear shift of like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 job. I need to find remote work. I need to get to a different position that allows for remote things to happen because I have this energy in my spine, in my body that tells me it's time to restructure, rethink what I think I wanted to do because I want something that is going to give me ultimate levels of independence because Uranus is going to come into the first. It's not immediate, but this is an eclipse in Uranus's sign. It is squaring Uranus before Uranus comes into Gemini, before you could get into an RV and live your life on the road, using that as an example. You got to make decisions. You got to sell some stuff. You got to make some money. You got to do a couple of things before that can be the case. But not all of you are going to run away. Not all of you are going to do the RV thing. Some of you all, again, still have to make some changes, though, in that work idea because Mercury is stationing to go retrograde in that 10th house of career. So we have this 8 of coins energy. There is a mentality of something is about to start to shift in that work environment, in the things that we're doing. There's going to be some things that come from higher ups. We have this Hierophant card. So there could be, again, something that comes from the bosses. There could be something that's coming from higher management that issues whatever that change is going to be for some people in a more mundane sense. For other people, it's going to be that energetic calling of some sort that I want to do something different, that I'm going to do something different, that I want to do different things that allow for stability to come through. We have this 4 of coins and we have the 6 of coins. You can see those right here. And these are followed by the Chariot card and the King of Coins. And it's funny, whenever I started talking about the Uranus part, about whenever Uranus comes into your first house, this Chariot card popped out. It's like, yeah, a lot of you, there's something that's quite literally hitting your spine that shows you a different direction of what you want to do moving forward, how you want to connect to people moving forward, what you want in your life path moving from here. And it's going to take a while to make those things happen. And that makes sense because, again, this eclipse that activates something that we're not completely ready for. In some ways, it's going to require immediate changes. In other ways, it's going to take a year for those changes to fully unfold. Both are true simultaneously. But Mercury also rules your 4th house of home, home life, and family. Mercury in the 10th can have to do with fathers. Some of you all might be dealing with something with your home life and specifically needing to deal with something around your fathers or father figures. because of what it's doing. It's not necessarily showing you a path and direction for your future, but it's telling you to get something squared away with your parents, with your family, with that part of the dynamic, because that's necessary for things in the future to work the way that they need to. And again, that can be something that quite literally hits you guys in your spine of we got to take care of this. We got to do this. And some of y'all might be dealing with something like nursing homes. That could be the institution level of what we were talking about with the ninth house energy. Do we put them in a care home? Do we bring nurses into the house? What do we do? And for some of you, it's going to be something quite literally dealing with that health aspect, but not necessarily your health aspect. So be aware of how this vibration is hitting and understand that it is going to trigger something in your spine that does require some immediate changes. But I mean immediate changes over the course of the next 60 days, not necessarily overnight. And for those of you that like to go quick like rabbit, not slow like turtle, you're not going to like that part. And with this chariot card, you're really not going to like that part. But I'm warning you that some of y'all cannot go as fast as you think, because again, your chart ruler is about to go retrograde. That's going to start on the 26th. It's going to last until March 20th. You are going to be making revisions. And some of those revisions are going to have an emotional quality to them. And you need to be aware of that. All right. Moving along. For Cancers and Cancer risings, this is a new moon eclipse in your 8th house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources, credit cards, taxes, quite literally, secrets. There can be something that is very, very blindsiding. There's something that could be coming to light that is going to impact you in a public way. Why am I saying that? Because this is an eclipse in the 8th house. Of course, your chart ruler is in the 8th house, but the ruler of Aquarius, Saturn, is in your 10th house and your 11th house. Uranus is in the 11th. Well, the 10th house is your goals for the future. It's your public image. It's your career. It's what the focus is moving forward from here. This is the start of something. Uranus in that 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. There's the start of something, but it's also impacting how you connect to people with the fact that this eclipse is squaring Uranus in the 11th. There can be a big financial investment. There can be a job change that is going on, or a role in your job that is going on that impacts you financially. Now, in some ways, it's going to allow for certain burdens to finally to be released for you. For some of you, it is going to be your own karma coming back to bite you. And it really, again, comes down to your karma. Because I've been warning you guys for a very long time, whatever was going on in Capricorn, that 7th house energy, for some of y'all, that was good energy. For some of y'all, that came with judgment. That came with getting caught with some things. And now some of you, if you're in that getting caught energy, it's going to cost you. I'm warning you of that now, but not everybody's in that energy. So let's not focus on that too heavily. Oh, but remember, the 8th house can be a secrets house. So that's why I'm saying there can be these elements of there too. Some of y'all are going to be very, very focused from here that for what you want to achieve moving into the future, for what you want to do, that means a lot of you are going to have to let some things go, walk away from some people, or some of you are having to come to terms with walking away from some people. Now, the thing about this energy, especially whenever we go into that Mercury retrograde part. Mercury right now is in Pisces. It is in your 9th house. Pisces is ruled by 2 planets. Neptune, again, Saturn-Neptune conjunction. I've been growling about it forever. But for you guys, let's focus on the fact that the traditional ruler is Jupiter. And Jupiter is in your 1st house. Now, one of the things I started to say to you guys last summer is Jupiter is coming through to help start to rebuild your confidence. It's wanting you to heal something. It's wanting you to learn. It's wanting you to expand your knowledge. It's wanting you to get over some things. It's wanting to bring attention towards you. And for the first few months of Saturn in Cancer, it did a lot of that. But since November, Jupiter has been retrograde. And now Jupiter is also stationing. Jupiter will be at 15 degrees until roughly around April 3rd, 4th, something like that, but will turn direct in March. And there's a stewing vibration that's coming through. And some of you guys are sitting here stewing and letting some things happen. Some of you guys are having some things that are just unfolding with people around you. And it's like no matter what you do, you feel stuck because that planet is stationing in your first house. You are stewing. This doesn't apply to everybody else. It really doesn't. Most of the other planets right now, they're direct. Most of the other planets right now are starting to move. If they, like Uranus just turned direct. So he's starting to move a little bit, but not very fast. All the other planets are moving and shifting signs, but not for Cancer risings. It's not the same. Many of you have a stewing in this energy, and there's still some things that need to happen. So there's still some things that either need to be faced, that need to be dealt with in certain ways. So we're going to go with the negative cards. We have this 10 of Wands energy, and we have this 3 of Swords. Again, this is an eclipse in the 8th house. That can be betrayals. Doesn't have to be you betraying somebody. Somebody else can betray you. But for other people, we have to focus on this 10 of Wands, and there's a burden that needs to get unloaded. And for this burden to get unloaded, there is a series of changes that needs to happen. For some of you, that change literally has to do with other people. For some of you, that change is going to be because you need to go somewhere, experience something, travel somewhere. I'm thinking of Mercury going retrograde in the 9th, and the fact that Jupiter is the ruler of that 9th house. But I'm also seeing that energy of around that Saturn, Neptune in the 10th of unloading something and allowing certain things to finally start that is going to fuel you guys with a different kind of passion. King of Wands, Page of Coins. But this King of Wands is not immediately able to just run with passion. There's a few things that need to be adjusted. And for you guys, there's a few things in your plans that need to get adjusted. And while Jupiter is stationing, it is making you consider the adjustments. It is making you consider different things that you had not considered before. And some of you are going to realize there's going to be a couple people that they don't go with you into that next vibration. They do not earn the luck that you have, and they do not earn the ability to help you moving forward. So we have the 6 of Swords energy. And in the traditional deck, the 6 of Swords is a woman going down the river. You can't see where she left. You can't see where the land is going to start. You can't see the dock up ahead. And she doesn't care. She's in that fog. That's a very Saturn Neptune thing, by the way. And wherever she goes next has got to be better than what she left behind. For some of you, you have to just have faith that moving towards something different is going to allow for certain things to be different than the way they were in the past. 6 of Swords. And with this 9 of Cups being this final card in your draw, I always look at the 9 of Cups as it's better to be lucky than smart. And luck is on your side. For many of you, luck is on your side. Now, that's kind of a catch-24 because I know that there's some Cancer risings that it's not. I've seen it. I've seen your energies. But for a lot more of you, it is. And it really, again, comes down to personal karma. Have we done the right things? Have we alleviated certain people from our path? Have we started moving into a new direction for ourselves? Are we leaving certain things behind? Some of you guys have struggled with leaving the past behind. You've allowed the tests to come back through. And considering some of that Jupiter Chiron stuff that was going on in the last quarter of last year, it makes sense that we allowed some of those things to come back through. It is your nature to be considerate and to be caring. Even if you don't wish to be seen as caring, it is in your nature to take care of people and to take care of things. What I'm saying is as we continue past this eclipse, that there's going to be something that shows you shouldn't have taken care of some of those people and they should have been left behind. But the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you know that, the better that energy is going to work out for you. So just be aware that if you are feeling stuck or you are feeling yourself spinning and not able to let something go and not let certain things happen, there's a reason for that. And the mental energy for you guys over the course of the next month, because again, Jupiter is stationing and Mercury is stationing in Jupiter's sign, and Mercury rules our logical brain. There's a logic coming through that is going to make you shift your opinion before you can fully submerge into what your new normal is going to be from here. Okay. Moving along. For Leos and Leo risings, this is a new moon eclipse in your 7th house of other people. It's everybody else. They're making the mess. They're causing the drama. It's not necessarily that. Some of y'all, it's you're getting opportunities from other people. Things are starting to work in your favor. So much of that energy through January was giving you an idea for a new purpose, for new things that you're wanting, a new direction that you're wanting. And now an opportunity can be coming through that can directly impact the future. Why do I say that? This is a new moon eclipse in the seventh house, but it is also squaring Uranus in the 10th. So this can have a direct impact as to what you're doing in your plans for the future, what you're wanting to do in career. Saturn is the other ruler of Aquarius, and Saturn has now just entered your ninth house, which is higher education and higher learning. Some of you guys are stepping into the idea of going back to school or going to school for the first time. Some of you guys are doing different things like with an institution. That can be hospitals, that can be education, that can be prisons. Some of you guys are looking at whatever you do next. You want to be able to roam the world. You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to move around. And again, your ninth house being so heavily activated, that makes sense too. There's so much of this that is starting to be like, I need something that makes me feel alive again, that makes me feel compassion again, that makes me feel like I'm not being drained anymore, because so much of the energy over the last few years for you guys has been draining. And for many of you, you have to face the fear that for a lot of what we do next, babies, you don't necessarily do it with other people. That's a harder one. Here's the deal. I'm going to focus on Pluto for just a second whenever it comes to Leo risings, because it's a continuous conversation that I keep having with a lot of Leo risings. Pluto in your seventh house makes you want a different quality of person, because if you settle for anything less, then you get the negative qualities of Pluto. You get the power struggles, the power dynamics, you get the abuse, you get the things that we don't want to deal with. And the thing is, you've already had so much that speaks to those patterns being that way. So Pluto wants a different quality of individual. And this eclipse also being in that seventh house, squaring Uranus in the 10th, there is opportunity to connect to a different quality of person. But I really don't mean this in the relationship sense. But it's like it's opening a door that leads to the potential of relationships later on. It's allowing certain things to connect in a certain way that gives you more people and can even impact you financially, but it's not necessarily the relationship part of the people. It can be. I'm not going to pretend like it's not, but I'll be honest, more of you than less of you are not seeing other people, because the last few years have had lessons in regards to knowing the difference between friends and lovers. So this seems like something very, very different than a relationship. If it is a relationship, it could be a business partnership. That could be a big part of this energy. For other people, whenever it comes to Leo risings, there could be something that is a legal situation or a legal matter that really starts to impact the future, because again, it's the seventh house and legal things can be a part of that. But for more of you, there's an opportunity. There's something with the other side that is showing you an impact, that is showing you a direction of what you want to do for the future, but it's going to require some immediate changes. And those immediate changes are going to be financial for a lot of you. Now, some of you are very fearful for some of this energy. We have this Nine of Swords and we have this Knight of Coins. The thing about this Knight of Coins is he's not fast moving energy. This is such a Taurus card, by the way. He will not make a decision unless he is sure. He doesn't want things that are going to shake up. He wants things to be comfortable. He wants things to be sure. He wants to be right. And for many of you all, you're going to have to get over certain fears and allow certain things to happen. And just knowing that they're not going to go as fast as everybody else's. For you guys, some of this energy needs to go a little bit slower, or you're going to find a way to make it go slow because you're going to want to be sure in so many ways. Now, this is an eclipse in Aquarius. We have this King of Swords energy. This is a very air card. So again, we have some kind of opportunity that could be coming from somebody who's in charge on the other side. So I do feel like for a lot more of you, this is more business oriented. The Mercury retrograde that's going to be happening in the 8th house, it speaks to certain things impacting you financially. And we're going to have some kind of adjustment in our plans, adjustments of what we do at work, adjustments in our expenses because of the 6 of Coins. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, because we have the 6 of Cups. It's a very happy card, a very playful card. It's a very fun card. And then it is followed by the 10 of Coins. You guys are the first ones to get the 10 of Coins. I don't know if anyone else is going to get it, but it feels like We have an opportunity that is slowly starting to unfold. Yes, it can have a financial impact, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be negative. Now, for some people, realistically, it could be negative. You could lose your job in this energy. There's been a lot of job losses in the last year, and I know that. But that doesn't mean that it's not the right thing at this moment. There can be something, again, that comes from the other side, not your choice, that impacts your career, that impacts your finances, that is going to make you rethink the way that you do things and rethink the way that you make money. And that might also, again, put you in a situation where you need to go back to school, that you have to go get some kind of education of some sort to be able to do something different and do something better. Because for a lot of people, the thing about the new normal is the fact that we're not going to repeat the same pattern of working for the same old 9 to 5 job that we've been doing for the last few years. Some of y'all are going into different fields. You're going to go in a different direction because that's going to be the only way that you can sustain for the long term. Certain fields are not paying the way that they used to because those fields have become over inundated with people. And now the only way to be able to make the money that we want, and for you Leo risings, money's an important part. That means shifting gears with the way that you make money. And again, for a lot of you, that means going into a new direction that we weren't previously doing, going with a new company that we didn't previously work for, going into a new department that we've never done before. It's going into something different. Learning in some ways through experience, but knowing that it's not going to be like anything that we had previously. So be aware of that. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. All right, my loves. Oh, this is a new moon eclipse in your 6th house. I almost said higher education. I don't know why I said that. Okay. This is how you care for yourself, how you are of service. This can have to do with your health. This can have to do with the health of another person. This can have to do with pets. That yearning and that itch of like, I think everything would feel so nice if I could just come home to a dog every day. If I could come home to a cat every day. I just think it would be so nice if we had this little thing. But the thing is, this little thing is a big thing because it becomes a big part of your life. It becomes a part of your family dynamic. It can have an expense to it. It can have a training that goes involved with it. It really kind of depends on like what we're talking about. If we're going with a pet versus a service animal, there's different costs to it, different things. But for a lot of you, that 6th house energy can actually have to do with being of service or what is of service to you. Your chart ruler, Mercury, is in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, legal matters. You are considering something different whenever it comes to the way that you connect with people. And what you've been considering is not exactly how it's going to go. I just need you to all to know that. Because again, your chart ruler is stationing to go retrograde. And it's not retrograde yet. But the thing is, one of the immediate reactions from this eclipse is Mercury going retrograde. So there is something that's meant to come through, that's meant to happen for many of you. It's based off the other side, somebody else giving you an idea, somebody else giving you an opportunity, your significant other and their opportunities, and you're just in that support position for them. I said that to you guys quite a bit in the last few months, that some of y'all are in a support position for that other side, and we're waiting for certain things to happen. And for many of you, based off of what starts to happen after this eclipse, it is going to force you to make some decisions, very logical decisions, through the rest of eclipse season. Because remember, after this eclipse, the next eclipse is going to be the eclipse in Virgo in your 1st house. Therefore, your mind, your body, your identity, you are going to have to accept certain truths, make certain changes in regards to the passions, the desires of what we are doing, and understand that what you thought was going to be the plan for the future is getting adjusted in this energy. Now, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is in your 8th house. That's death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources. So there is a financial element that is also unfolding. And again, for many of you, it feels like it's tied to the other side because that Saturn-Neptune conjunction was building through Pisces before it connects in Aries at 0 degrees of Aries. So a lot of your focus for a very long time has been focused on the other side. Everybody else, it's them, They did it. It's their fault. But yet it's going to turn into something on your plate as we continue through this vibration. So be aware that many of you are going to be seeing some things start to unfold after this eclipse that is going to have force you to end up making some hard decisions throughout the rest of eclipse season. I'm not specific to one day for you guys. With this Five of Cups, you're going to look at it as like, crap, if we do this, then I lose this. And if I lose this, am I the same person? I'm telling you, you're meant to shift your plan. You're meant to shift the plan in this energy. It's not going to be immediate to the Aquarius eclipse. It's going to be something that happens throughout the entirety of eclipse season. And for many of you, it's got a financial impact, whether it's your finances or somebody else's finances, doesn't really matter, but there's a financial impact because of that Saturn Neptune in the 8th house. A new way of making money, a new way of earning money. But I'm also looking at the fact that this eclipse in your 6th house is squaring Uranus. And for the next 2 months, following this eclipse, so this eclipse is setting us up for everything that's happening over the next 60 days. At the end of that 60-day mark, Uranus moves into Gemini. Uranus moves into your 10th house of career. And for many of you, you saw a glimpse of something, a glimpse of your passions, of stuff that you wanted for the future. You got the 9 of coins and the 10 of coins with the world card, by the way. This is awesome energy. The world card is ready to start a new chapter. The 9 of coins wants to do certain things independently, but the 10 of coins is the big picture and the big package, the big package of everything that we're wanting. And for many of you, you're going to be forced to make a certain type of logical decision, again, based off of what the other side has presented, about what the other side is doing, about what the other side needs at this moment. And it is going to impact the direction and the passion of where you're going from here with this King of Wands. The King of Wands and the fueling go together. Remember, I keep saying with Neptune and Aries, there's a fueling, there's a fueling, there's a fueling. There's something in this direction that is meant to unfold a certain way. But for some of this fueling, there's going to be some level of sacrifice, a shift because of the other side, for the other side, and what starts to unfold for them. I'm not saying that you don't still find your passion. What I'm saying is it's going to put you into a place that you were not thinking of before, but there were glimpses of it. It's just a glimpse. Last year gave us a glimpse of something. Very, very quickly, we saw there was something else that wasn't quite right, that wasn't quite ready. We realized that we might have made some very impulsive decisions through the last eclipse season because something felt like it could go a certain way. But then we had regrets and we kind of pulled back from that and it didn't quite stick the same way. What I'm saying is where we're unfolding now, whatever is going on with the other side, a business partner, a legal matter, for some of you, it's a legal matter, a significant other, whatever's going on with the 7th house vibration, the opportunity, the ideas, the decision, it's impacting your focus and your direction moving forward because it's going to align you with where that long-term direction is going to be. But for you to get into alignment with that, with the passion, with what you're wanting to do next, there's a shift of your idea and your opinion that has to happen first. And I'm warning you that through eclipse season, not just specific to this Aquarius eclipse, that's what's unfolding for many of you. A shift in the plan, a shift in the idea, a shift in where you're going next and how that's meant to look. Okay, moving along, moving along, moving along. We're going to get to Libras and Libra risings. All right, my loves. This is a new in your 5th house. Love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children, psychological behaviors that take you back to your childhood. Some of y'all are going to be having some legal matters tied to your children that are going to start to unfold. Why do I say that? Because this is an eclipse in the 5th house, while the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is developing in the 7th house. Some of y'all are going to be meeting a partner here in the next few weeks, or if you haven't already, that it's like, oh my God, I want to make a baby with you. Some of y'all, it's going to be that. Some of y'all are looking at something that needs to shift in your health so you can start to have a child, or you can do something that brings you personal happiness. Now, why do I say this? The North Node is still in the 6th house of your health, how you care for yourself, how you care for other people. Venus, your chart ruler, is making a conjunction to the North Node in this eclipse. And many of you are going to feel like the antenna version of this energy of this is what I want and this is what's going to make me happy. And I know for me to get this, I got to get the right people on board. I got to get the right thing going. I got to do some changes. And it's like part of the downloads and the epiphany in the energy for you guys. It's like, I've been waiting on this clarity for so long. I've been waiting for something to make sense for so long. And now I want to make something happen. But again, it's going to be focused on more than just one energy. There's also a focus on how you're connecting to the other side and what we need to do different to make certain things happen. And that's going to require some judgment calls for some of you. All right, there we go. We got to flip. We got to flip up some cards. We got some things that came through upside down for you guys. Okay. Hello. And some of y'all need to know certain truths are going to be a little bit different than what we knew before. And even that can be something that kind of comes down to what comes through from the other side. So here's the deal. Mercury is stationing. The two cards that flipped upside down for you guys were the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords. That doesn't normally happen, but it actually happened this time. And of course, I actually put more emphasis on that in the intro. There was going to be somebody that had some. So you do have some upside down cards. And I feel like, again, there's going to be a light bulb and an epiphany of something that needs to happen. But the thing is like to make that happen, that means we need to turn some things around. And again, that kind of speaks to that Mercury retrograde. And for some of y'all, some of the turnaround means holding some other people accountable in a different way. Because after that Mercury retrograde starts, Venus will go from Pisces into Aries in March. Your chart ruler, Venus, will be in Aries. So again, there's going to be something about what we've been waiting for to happen with the other side. It feels like things have been we've been waiting for certain things for so long. We have the Hermit card and we have this Page of Coins. Some of you guys have already made certain decisions. And again, we're just waiting for this other side to start to happen. And what I'm telling you is either part of your plan, Ace of Swords in reverse, needs to change, or who you're doing it with needs to change. And that might be the bigger part for you guys. So again, be aware of that. You have another reverse card. I'm going to talk about this moving forward. Now, when it comes to Venus being in Pisces, I want to put a special emphasis now on the fact that Neptune is in the 7th, but also the other ruler Pisces is Jupiter in your 10th house of career, your goals for the future. And for some of you, there needs to be some immediate adjustments in your routine before you can actually focus on what you want in career moving forward. So that might also be a part of the adjustments here with this Page of Swords. We also have this 8 of Coins, and we have the Justice card. After this energy, we want to put something into a rebalancing of some sort, but this is going to take some time. And again, there's going to be some certain levels of accountability with the other side, given the fact that half of the Mercury retrograde Venus will be in Aries. Your focus is going to be on the other side. You need other people to see you differently. And for some of that difference to be had, there's a shift in the information, there's a shift in the plan, there's a shift in the conversation that needs to be held. It needs to be done differently. It needs to happen. And for some of you, once we get into this eclipse, because this eclipse includes a Venus North Node conjunction, it's almost simultaneous. They're just a few hours apart. There's going to be like that shock that goes through your spine. There's going to be something in the downloads. There's something in the epiphanies. There's something in your desires that starts to unfold that, again, is going to require a shift in plans. And I'm telling you, this is going to take weeks to unfold, not a day or two. So please understand that what starts to unfold for you next is meant to give you something that actually brings you personal happiness. It's bringing you something that allows for certain things to get healed, and it's going to be helpful in the long run. It's going to give you what you want whenever it comes to either your inner child or children in and of itself, because eclipse in the 5th. But it also still requires some immediate shifts in the plan. And these reverse cards being so mercurial makes me think that a part of the shift either has to do with your health, someone else's health, what we're doing at work, what we're doing within our routine, and or what we're doing with our pets. Pets is not as a high of a topic on there. Everything else feels like it's more informational, more about the planning stage. And again, a shift with what we're doing with the other side. And if we want that other side to work, then we have to make the shift. Many of you have to pay attention to the downloads and the ideas as we go through this eclipse, because it's telling you something in specific, but many of you have to act upon it. But you're going to also have to fight impulse and not act too fast. Only so much can happen in so much time. So be aware of that. Okay, moving along. For Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon eclipse in the fourth house of home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, matrons. This can have to do with our actual home, what we're doing in our home life, what we're doing in our house. Some of y'all are going to be doing something in your house. Some of y'all are going to be looking at the idea that we really need to like change something here because there's not enough room for everybody. And this is what I need, a space to be creative. I need space for the baby. I need space for the kids. If we're going to really make this happen, we got to make some adjustments. And that comes through that Mercury retrograde. But that Mercury retrograde is going to be in the fifth house of love, luck, romance, joy, happiness, and children. This new moon, almost a full moon. This new moon is squaring Uranus in the seventh house of other people. Some of y'all are going to be helping other people with their family dynamics. Some of y'all are going to have to need the help of another person so you can get certain things squared away with your family dynamic. Some of y'all need to adjust certain roles and responsibilities because we also have that Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the sixth. We have to do something different for our businesses. We have to do something different in our career. For so many Scorpio risings, this energy is showing you a direction and a path. And for some of you, that direction is going to require changes over the course of the immediate and the year. So an immediate energy over the next 2 months, but also the next year. And that might also mean relocation. You might not be completely ready for that, but there can be some relocation. I can't continue to live with my mom. I can't continue to live with my dad. I have to look at the idea of moving somewhere else, moving out on my own, doing something different. For a lot of Scorpio risings, the energy around just Pluto being in Aquarius in that fourth house of home life, and family, we as Scorpio risings are rewriting the whole rules as to how we see our role in this matriarchs and patriarchs. We are shifting the dynamic, quite literally, of how we want our families to look from here. And considering now we're having an eclipse in the fourth house, we've already been having a view of that over the last few years of Pluto being in the fourth. But now there's an energy and an emphasis of like, now we can start to do something. Now we can start to reshape something. Now we can really put something into focus. And again, we have this Hierophant card, which speaks to different forms of responsibility. The rulers of this eclipse are Uranus and Saturn. Saturn just went into a new sign. Within the next 2 months, Uranus will move into a new sign. So there's long game energy just as much as there's short game energy. And there's certain responsibilities with this Hierophant, but we also have this Fool card. We also have new things coming through. Now, or is everybody in the family going to be super happy about the idea that you're going to be the new matriarch, patriarch? No, they're not. So many are very adverse to change. And there's going to be some really hard conversations whenever it comes to certain responsibilities. We got this Nine of Swords energy right here. There will be certain things that are very hard discussions to have, especially whenever it comes down to like some of us in our roles of taking care of certain family members. Grandpa can't have all that sugar, but this is Grandpa's favorite candy. I just got him his favorite soda. I don't know what you're talking about. Grandpa can't have that anymore. And it's like putting your foot down to rewrite the rules and rewrite the responsibility. And other people are going to be like, nah, you're just so bossy. You just because you're not giving them their way. Grandpa's going to get mad at you too. I really want this stuff. It makes me happy, but it's killing you. Grandpa, it's killing you. And some of us, we just have to shed light, Sun card, of what's going on. And we have to show people in the long run of what's going to be the big possibility. Now, what I love with the Sun card, knowing the rest of the transits throughout the rest of the year, is later this year, the nodes are going to move into Aquarius and Leo. And I'm also putting a lot of focus that whenever it comes to Scorpio risings, there is a direction and a path of where we're going next in the future and where we're going to have the most promise. And this feels like a very root foundational vibration for how we want certain things to go into the future. And there's so much of this energy that it's specific to making sure we're doing the right buildup of certain things. We have this Three of Coins. I always look at this Three of Coins like it's a very Texas card, very oil field card, but it's very like manual labor, blue collar. We got work to do. Saturn and Neptune are in the sixth house. We got work to do. We don't want everybody else telling us what work we're doing. We're willing to do that work ourselves. And what we're starting to do right now, Seven of Coins energy, is we're putting energy and emphasis into certain things that are meant to go for the long term. We are planting seeds that are going to grow into crops later. Those crops are going to be stuff that we're going to go take to market later. It's going to have financial reward to it. But we need to do the foundational things within our home, within our family, within this dynamic now, knowing that we're going to be rewriting some of the rules in the way that people who love us see us, because that Mercury retrograde will be in the 5th. Now, some of you, the changes literally need to be your actual home life now, because that's what's going to be best for all the kids. Mercury retrograde in the 5th. There's some shift in the routine whenever it comes to who's going to be responsible for what. That's the Saturn, Neptune in the 6th. There are shifts all the way around. And for some of you, it's going to impact your personal happiness. That can be negative. For others, that could be positive. It really kind of comes down to, are you leaning into the shifts or are you trying to remain the same? The thing about fixed signs right now, we're not allowed to remain the same. We're really not. And the reason the shift is happening the way that it is so that we can start to make our long-term shifts in the same vibration. Be aware of that. And again, many of you are stepping into a whole different role of matriarchs and patriarchs within your family with Pluto. Oh, just Pluto alone in the 4th. But now we have the actual eclipse in the 4th, really instigating that the energy that we've been gearing towards, we've been becoming aware of over the last few years. Now it's time to start working on it. And considering both chart rulers, Mars and Pluto, are in the 4th, again, there's a very big focus on the home life, the family, and this level of dynamic of what we're going to do next from here. Okay, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings, this is an eclipse in your 3rd house. Education, travel, learning. Some of y'all are going to be committing to some kind of additional training because you're wanting to do something different in career. Some of you guys are looking at some kind of new role or new responsibility, and it's going to make for immediate shifts in your home life. Why am I saying that? Is because Mercury is stationing to go retrograde in the 4th house of home, life, and family. There can be some real mundane things with a 3rd house eclipse. Some of y'all might be going to look at buying a new car. It could be for yourself. It could be for your kids. It could be for your partner or somebody, a loved one of some sort. Some of you guys might be having a shift in your opinion, and the shift in your opinion might also be something that starts to impact the family. Because again, Mercury is going to go retrograde in the 4th house of home, life, and family. Roots, ancestry, mothers. As soon as this eclipse perfects, the sun and the moon are going to go into Pisces. So again, there'll be still a focus on that 4th house of home, life, and family. And your chart ruler is stationing right now in all of this energy. So there feels like an energy where some of y'all are going to be forced to face some things that we haven't faced in a long time, that we haven't had the energy to put into perspective. And no matter what you do, you're going to have to do some light work. You're going to have to do some heavy work. You're going to have to do some adjustments. And some of you, this might include expenses. Why am I saying that? Because again, your chart ruler is stationing in the 8th house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance. For some of y'all, it's going to have expenses in what you're doing in your home life. For some of y'all, it's a shift in the plan, a shift in the idea, because you're going to have to bring somebody into your home, taking care of your parents or something along these lines. What I'm looking at is the fact that Mercury is slowing down to go retrograde in that 4th house of home, life, and family. So some of y'all, it's because this change is happening, whether it's a financial change or an expense on another side. And now it's impacting the home life. Mercury about to go retrograde in the 4th. Now, some of y'all, it's not going to be necessarily that. Some of you, it might be taking out an extra debt or an extra loan to be able to do some repairs on the house, do a HELOC or something like that. Some of you guys might be looking at selling your house so you can put those funds towards something else, buying a new house, buying a new business, something along the lines. You might be moving to another town, another area. Considering where we're going next, there is going to be a lot of energy that is going to be kind of heavy for you guys for a while, because again, Jupiter is stationing. Jupiter is going to remain at 15 degrees roughly until about April 4th. So I said this to Cancer risings too, but I'm going to bring this a little bit differently for you guys. For some of you, you might be feeling stuck, like everything's costing you money, or no matter how much money you put into something, things aren't going correctly. Come on, Nine of Swords. Come on. We're starting to do it. But a lot of you have to be dealing with some judgment calls of certain things to make some things start to happen. Some of you might have been reluctant to spend some money, and you're going to have to start doing that now. You have to invest in something in your software. We have to invest in the marketing. We have to invest in something, Page of Coins. Some of you guys, again, you're investing in the house. There is something about like putting all this extra money into the house because of the move. Some of you guys are wanting something different in your energy, considering that Saturn Neptune conjunction is in the fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. There can be somebody that's coming through that's like influencing a new passion, influencing the changes that you're starting to make. It's helping shift your opinion with this Knight of Wands energy, and it's helping kind of like rebuild your strength in certain ways because, again, Jupiter is slowing down. And this energy of like the turnaround of recapturing a certain energy within yourself, this might not be immediate. This might take weeks to really unfold because, again, Jupiter won't leave 15 degrees until April. But it's like we have to go through some of that energy of facing certain fears, of facing certain things from the past to allow ourselves to pick back up again. You might have a heavier time through the rest of this month, but once we get into like the second half of March, it won't feel as heavy. And many of you are going to feel like you can alleviate something from your plate. But right now, it's like the little inklings of certain things hitting your spine, making you realize what you need to alleviate. Even if you're not ready to alleviate in the moment, certain things are hitting your spine for a reason. And it's going to enforce some level of change. And for some of you, you're going to be the responsible party for that King of Cups energy. For some of you, you're making these changes because of another person, because of a love factor, somebody coming through. You're doing it for your kids. You're doing it for the betterment of your entire family. But again, it's a change that takes a series of weeks to really start to unfold. And this eclipse feels like it's the logical decision to make those series of changes. I feel like the heavier energy for you guys is going to be once the Pisces transits start to hit, because again, we're going into the Jupiter ruled sign. And that again is your fourth house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, matrons, and things along these lines. I think that the eclipse itself is going to feel very mundane and light for you guys. I feel like once everything goes into Pisces, that's when it's going to pick up. That's when you're going to feel more. That's where you're going to realize where and how you need to make some changes. And a lot of you, the changes is not just going to be one area, it's a financial impact as well as a home life impact. And we're going to have elements of both of finding their ways to the surface over the next 6 to 8 weeks. But it kind of starts based off of the information that comes through in this eclipse. So be aware of that. Moving along. We're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. All right. Some of the health stuff I said in the beginning, this applies to you guys. It applies to Aries risings because that Saturn Neptune is in their first house, but Saturn is your chart ruler, babies. Some of that health stuff apply to you. Different things that you need to do in your body, different things that you need to do in your health, different things that you need to do for your family. The Saturn Neptune conjunction happening in the fourth house of home, home life, and family. Some different things that you need to do for your home life. Considering this eclipse is going to be in your second house of money, your assets, ways that you make money, ways that you spend money. For some of y'all, you need to go ahead and put some investments into what you're doing in your home life. Some of you guys need to realize that you have to make certain commitments, make certain connections happen, work through the last part of your emotions that have been kind of dwindling while Saturn was in Pisces, and really put a focus on something new. And for a lot of you, it's something new for yourself. In the long run, there can be a lot of promise to this, but in the short run, we have to make some financial decisions. We have to do some responsible things and realize that there's a lot of change in this vibration. Some of this change is going to be good, and some of this change is going to be easy. Some of these, it's going to be very, very hard, but it's like as we go through the process of change, of transformation, of moving into something different, each step in that different direction rebuilds something inside of you, rebuilds your passion to move, your passion to live, your passion for what you want in life. because your chart ruler, Saturn, is newly in Aries, and this is where he's going to be for the next 2 years. There is a new passion and a new desire that is coming through. For many of you, it's impacting your home life. It's impacting that family dynamic. For others, it's just showing you a whole different direction, but it's got a cost to it. There is a bit of a price tag, so be aware of that part. So let's talk about this first card. We do have the Tower card. Now, I want to be clear about something before anybody freaks out, because the Tower card can be like everything falling apart. The deal is, I feel like a lot of things have already fell apart for you guys. I don't know that we're in another round of certain things falling apart, but what I will pay attention to is whenever it comes to the tarot deck, the Tower is the only card that appears with a structure. And again, your chart ruler, Saturn, just moved into your 4th house of home, home life, and family. For some of y'all, you're taking new efforts to build a structure in a whole new way, to rebuild your family dynamic, to allow certain emotions to finally get processed. We have this Moon card, and allow for certain kind of partnerships and dynamics to come together. 2 of Cups. There's inspiration to get your home life put together, to get your dynamics put in order. There's inspiration in some way. And each step you take towards doing something different in this change, every dime you spend that goes into this change helps you rebuild your confidence in some way. Because the one act of love that can be very true for most Capricorn placements is being fucking productive. And the more productive you are, the more useful you feel. And the more useful you feel, the happier you are. Your Saturnian version of happiness. Might not be other versions of happiness, but it makes you feel whole, makes you feel complete to be able to handle certain responsibilities. And we have a responsibility that is really coming through and fueling a belief system with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And again, there's going to be certain things that need to transform. Now, this is the Death card. Let's be real about that. But this is also a Plutonian card of what we need to do in the cycle of reincarnation, of reiteration, of moving something into a new metamorphosis. This Death card can speak to the ending of an old cycle and allowing something new to come together. Because again, you did have that 2 of Cups. And again, for a lot of you, Saturn moving into that 4th house of home, home life, and family, some of you are stepping into a whole different role in your family, what it is to be the matriarch or the patriarch. Some of you are stepping into some new responsibility when it comes to your actual mothers. Now we got this Empress card. And again, Saturn is in the 4th house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers. Some of you are stepping into your role as a mother, your role in the matriarchy or the patriarchy, your role can also be what you're doing to help take care of members of your family. And it puts you into a different place. It puts you into a different position. And every time you're starting to feel that different level of usefulness again, it starts to make you feel whole. And in the big picture of different things with the 10 of Coins energy, there's something that is coming through in this goal as to what you want your perfect 10 to be with the 10 of Coins. This is love. This is wealth. This is prosperity. This is legacy. And the thing about the Saturn in the 4th house is you can spend the next 2 years building everything around wealth, prosperity, family, and legacy. And for many of you to start to do that, that means we have to let go of the past and make little steps every single day towards that new vibration. And for some of you, in the most mundane sense, the first steps to being able to build that new foundation of what you want your family to look like, it's going to have a price tag. It's going to have some cost to it. And that eclipse in the 2nd house speaks to either a new way of making money or new ways of spending money. Both can be true simultaneously, just so you are aware of that. But there's something in this vibration that speaks to the bigger dynamic based off that Saturn Neptune. Is the focus is our roots. The focus is our family. And as we get focused on this area of being useful and being able to feel whole again, it is also putting you into a different position within your family dynamics. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. So just remember that. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Aquarius and Aquarius risings. It's all your fault. I'm kidding. Okay, this is a new moon eclipse in your 1st house. Your mind, your body, your identity, you, the things that you need, the things that you want, the different version of you, The last few years of Pluto coming into your first house is forcing you to transform. It's forcing you to face your fears. It's forcing you to be a different version of yourself. And now we're going into these eclipses that are going to happen in Aquarius. Now it's time to solidify more of that personal power, more of that opportunity, more of that internal desire. And for many of you, there is going to be something that can also either impact you with technology, because this new moon eclipse is squaring Uranus in the fourth, or it is going to be impacting your home life, your family dynamic, because it's a new moon eclipse, again, squaring Uranus in the fourth. There is a new awakening within many of you. And for some of you, you're having to realize the things that you've been holding on to for a while, while also recognizing like what you're wanting moving forward. And it might not be the same as what you thought you wanted before. There's a new path unfolding for many Aquarius risings. There's a new dynamic unfolding. And for many of you, that means letting go of an old dynamic that does not move forward from here. And for some of you, you might be breaking the home. You might be breaking the family. And I don't mean this in like the sense of like, you're a horrible person. It's more along the lines of you are transforming so much that who you were before, you are not able to continue to be that person for certain members of your family. And again, this is a new moon eclipse squaring Uranus in the fourth. Some of y'all just have to tell certain people, I can't take care of this for you anymore. I've been taking care of you. I've done all of these things, but I can't continue to do that. You got to figure some things out on your own. And the minute you start to rewrite the rules and rewrite the boundaries, somebody else will be like, bah, I don't like this. And for some of you, there is going to be some really hard conversations that you haven't wanted to have in a while. Eight of Swords and this Tower card. Let's be fair about this. And we can also follow this with the 10 of Wands. You got some heavy cards here. Some of you are going to have to break some things. Some of you are going to have to break that old delusion. And considering the other chart ruler, Saturn, is in that conjunction to Neptune, some of you guys have to break the delusion about yourself, the delusion of how other people see you. And if we're breaking a certain delusion, that means also reframing a way of thinking around who and what you are. And there might be a need to break some of these up, to let go of some of the burdens from the past, and to have some of these conversations about truths of things never changing in a certain way. And by having this honest, real conversation with yourself, allowing that energy to flow through you and the downloads to happen, little by little, there's going to be this element of alignment. We have this Temperance card. And I love this Temperance card because this is like having our head and heart in alignment. We want this stuff to be in alignment. And once our head and heart in alignment, we can also start to realize that there's a new path starting to unfold because we have this Two of Wands. There's a new path, there's a new direction, there's a new journey. And for many of you, you are in charge of this new path, this new direction, this new journey. The King of Wands, he's passionate about something. Saturn is newly in Aries, bringing forth a fire, a passion within you, a desire within you, and fueling in a lot of ways a new belief of ways that you need to communicate with people. Because again, we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the third. Saturn is one of your chart rulers. Uranus is the other one. Some of you guys are going to have to break an old dynamic, especially when that dynamic has to do with who you are as an individual. So you can start to go down a different path that serves you in a more passionate way, in a more desirable way, because you are not the same person. And little by little, the last few years have been showing you you're not the same person. And whenever it comes to the elements of the new normal, a lot of it has to do with who you are on an identity level. Your mind, your body, your ego, you. Now, I'll say the same thing to you that I said to Aries risings and Capricorn risings. Saturn being one of your chart rulers, you guys can be physically feeling those health effects. I didn't say this to every sign. I said it to the very specific signs that are having most of this stuff in their first house, or if it's their chart ruler. Saturn is one of your chart rulers. Some of you guys might be having that physical effect of the Saturn Neptune, and you could have already been having it for a while. They've been building their conjunction for months, but now this week it's going the most exact. So you might still have the physical effect too, but it's also like once you have certain physical effects in your body, it too can awaken something to help with that alignment. Like there's something about afterwards, you just don't feel the same. Purge whatever energy you need to purge from your body, filter whatever energy you need to filter from your body, but allow that new version of you to start to come through from this point forward. And for some of you, there will be immediate changes in this energy, eclipse with Mercury retrograde following. But for others, it's going to take an entire year for you to fully step into who you are wanting to become from this point forward. An entire year, because the next Aquarius eclipse is not going to happen until next year. But you need to clue in to what this eclipse is bringing in, because we build off this, we do bigger versions of this, and it has a bigger impact going into next spring, because the one in next spring, reminding you, it comes with a test. Be very clear about who you are wanting to become in this vibration, because you are changing. You are transforming. You are not going to be the same as who you used to be. And that is perfectly okay. Moving along. Last but never least, Pisces risings. Okay, my loves. This is an eclipse in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, healing, betrayal, backstabbing, leaving some things behind, feeling a disconnection, feeling yourself purging away. For some of y'all, you've been kind of mulling some things over. There's been some little bits of insecurities. Some of you, you're helping other people work through insecurities. Some of it is like every time some little thing pops up, it's bringing up another insecurity in you. It's like, I didn't even know I felt that way. I didn't even know that was still going to bother me. I didn't even know that was still happening. Why do I keep letting that happen? And for many of you, you're going to recognize you're not going to allow certain things to continue, especially whenever it comes to the effects around other people. Why do I say that? Because the Mercury retrograde is going to be completely in Pisces. That's your first house. That's your mind, your body, your identity, you. Now, here's what y'all need to know. Immediately after that eclipse, the moon will come into Pisces. A day and a half later, the sun is going to come into Pisces. So you can have something very, very blindsiding that happens in the eclipse that falls onto your plate in some way, that becomes something that you didn't know that you were going to have to deal with. And again, it's going to require you to put some immediate changes into effect with certain people in your lives. And for a lot of you, whenever it comes to these cards, there are people, not necessarily just the idea of like certain themes. There's a lot that speak to people. Now, we got to also pay attention to that in this eclipse, your two chart rulers are doing something. Neptune just went into Aries. He's been there for a couple of weeks. Over this week, immediately following the eclipse, we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. Neptune is one of your chart rulers, but your other chart ruler, Jupiter, is stationing. Jupiter is at 15 degrees and will be here until roughly around April 4th. So we have something new that's coming through with Neptune. We have something that can be blindsiding that comes onto your plate with the sun and the moon moving into Pisces. And we have Jupiter spinning in one place of the sky to end its retrograde. Mercury is going to go retrograde in your first house. There's going to be a stuck energy with you guys for a while. Blindsiding at first, stuck in other ways. And again, a real big shift of emotions and opinions that are going to follow. And it's not going to end until the new moon in Pisces. And that will be the energy that ends eclipse season. And by then, you're going to get real more aware of what you're starting to let go of and what you are changing. And I need you to understand that this energy is already in motion. The Chariot card is already happening. Anything that is going to start to come up and bubble up to the surface, any truths that need to be spoken, any information that needs to come through, this stuff is already underway. Things have already happened. You are going to be blindsided by certain people. I'm making you very, very aware of that right now. And in some ways, you are not prepared for this. In other ways, people are not going to be prepared for you to put certain boundaries up. They're not going to be prepared for it. They're not going to know what to do. And I want to start with this one. This is the Queen of Cups. This is a very Pisces card. She has her cup here. She's wearing her heart on her sleeve, very in tune with her emotions. You guys need to be very emotionally in tune with yourself. And honestly, I feel like a lot of you have done pretty well in the recent weeks because you've had like Venus come into your first over the last few years, having Saturn in your first. Saturn has made you take on a different kind of backbone that you didn't have before. And many of you are going to want to disconnect from certain people that start to rattle your core. And there's going to be some people that try to test your boundaries. And we're going to go with these last two cards. We have the Knight of Wands, we have the Queen of Coins. I'm also looking at the fact that Mercury rules your fourth house of home, home life, and family. Mercury rules Virgo, that seventh house of other people and legal matters and everyone else's drama. And Mercury is stationing to go retrograde in your first house. Other people's drama is going to force you to make some decisions and speak some truths that other people are not prepared for. I'm putting all those cards together. And not everybody is prepared for the truth that's going to be had. Not everybody's going to be prepared for the information that needs to be said. Not everybody is prepared for what you're going to do next. But it is going to be alleviating for you. It is going to be relieving for you. It is going to help you mentally and emotionally once you put your foot down. And I know you can do that now because Saturn is the one that gave you the backbone over the last few years. And what happens next is going to be very, very interesting. And again, it is going to result in some cutoffs of certain people that do not go with you as we continue into this new normal. And for many of you, there's also going to be a change in a plan, a change in perspective of things that bring you own personal happiness. There's going to be a shift in the plans in ways that you make money because Neptune is now in that second house of money. Some of you guys are going to be going into different roles. And again, if you get into a different role, but somebody else gets laid off, they're going to act salty towards you as opposed to being happy about it because they're so butthurt about their own stuff. Not everybody goes with us into the new normal. Any insecurities that have been shook in you are making you aware of something you need to be prepared to face. Any insecurity that you've been helping with other people, it is just helping them get through something. But there is an element of those insecurities that are going to have a blindsiding effect to you, with you, around you very quickly after this eclipse. And again, it is going to trigger for you to have a shift in opinion on certain people that you love, certain people in your home life, certain people in your household, and a legal matter of some sort. Because again, Mercury rules Virgo, and the next eclipse is going to be the Virgo eclipse. And by then, Mercury will be retrograde. There's a very fast energy that starts to unfold over these next 60 days now that we're in eclipse season. And eclipse season doesn't last 60 days, but there's so much that follows eclipse season that I'm saying 60 days. It's a very big window of change that is now starting to unfold now that we're going into this eclipse and now that Saturn and Neptune are completely in Aries. And you guys can still also feel those effects of the health stuff that I talked about in the beginning. Mercury will be retrograde in your first house. That's your mind, your body, your identity. Neptune is hitting a conjunction to Saturn. You might literally feel this in your bones, in your spine. Some of you guys might also be dealing with something with and around your elders. But there can also be a shift in responsibility in that too, based off the fact that those two planets are no longer in Pisces and they're now in Aries. They're now in another sign. So the way they had been impacting you over the last few years is not meant to remain the same. So be aware of that. There's a very big gear shift over these next few months based off of what is unfolding from this point forward. You guys are going to be making a lot of changes through that Mercury retrograde, and I'm warning you of that now. The eclipse might have some kind of blindsiding energy to it that makes you aware of what that is. So do with that what you will. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Hit me up with questions. Subscribe.